Is this altcoin rally over? Are we about to see crypto plummet back down, potentially even to new lows? Well, something happened yesterday that could be the catalyst to see that happen. And I'm going to go ahead and be upfront with you guys. While I don't think that we're going to see the catastrophic dips happen, if history does repeat itself over the next couple of days, things could get pretty ugly. What is it, you might ask, though? Well, let's go over to my screen and you will see breaking news last night. The SEC is suing the Kraken crypto exchange. Now, some of you might be saying, Tim, I thought they sued Kraken months ago. Well, you'd be correct. They sued Kraken back in earlier this year. I don't know the exact date of the official lawsuit, but in February, they ended up settling where Kraken paid $30 million and agreed to stop offering what the SEC called security staking options. So they stopped doing all that. They listened, they paid their dues, they thought they could go ahead and move on. Well, Gary Gensler and his goons are back, and they're coming for more. Just what are they doing this time? Well, they're now accusing Kraken still of being an exchange, a broker, a dealer, and a clearing agency, offering what they call, again, allegedly, securities. What are the securities, you might ask? Well, they've listed them here in their lawsuit. They even referenced the times that they've called them securities before, as if that means anything significant. Usually you see them reference previous lawsuits that you would have won, but they haven't won a lawsuit against Bittrex, Binance, or Coinbase. So this is still all alleged, but you can see it includes ADA, AXS, Algo, Atom, Chiliz, Cody, Dash, Filecoin, Flow, ICP, Mana, Matic, Near, OMG, Sand, and Solana. They're continuing to call all of these coins securities. Let's stop right here and just let's talk about this. This is the problem right now. This is the problem that the SEC and Gary Gensler, after almost like lulling us to sleep with all of the ETF talk, we thought maybe they were done being so aggressive against cryptocurrency. No, they're waiting for the right time. Is there heavy manipulation here? Isn't it crazy that we just waited for certain coins to pump 200%, others closer towards 100%, and then out of nowhere you're bringing back up all of these accusations once again? It's a little bit conspicuous, and it's caused the likes of Kraken's former co-founder. I don't know if it's former or current co-founder, but he makes a decent point here. Kraken co-founder slams SEC, urging the crypto firms to exit the U.S. In this article by the Cryptopolitan, he talks about how they're literally going out of their way, the SEC, to make things difficult for all crypto exchanges. And by the time this whole thing is said and done, Kraken is probably going to have to spend somewhere close to or over $100 million in legal fees just to fight the SEC. We've watched what Ripple and XRP had to go through. We now know, of course, also breaking yesterday, that Binance, after years of being accused of different things, is going to pay a $4 billion fee to the U.S. government to make all of the criminal investigation go away. Well, if that's not extortion, if that's not clear what the United States motives are, I don't know what is. They don't care about actually prosecuting. They don't care about actually stopping maybe a potential evil cryptocurrency exchange. They just want money. They got $30 million from Kraken months ago. They're about to get $4 billion from Binance. And now the question is, how much money can they maybe squeeze out of Kraken once again? Or at least, can they make all of these exchanges go away with all the legal fees so that they can make way for the newer bank-friendly centralized exchanges for American citizens? Kraken is now urging American exchanges to leave. Get out of the United States. Don't deal with all this nonsense. And it's hard to disagree with them. Now, there's one thing I have to go back over to the article that talks about the accusations. I'm interested to see the evidence for this claim. But if it is true, it's very interesting. Check this out. Part of the accusations that the SEC is labeling against Kraken is that they are taking risks with customers' personal and financial information with the business practices and poor record keeping. Kraken commingles its customers' money with its own, including paying operational expenses directly from accounts that hold customer cash. The SEC's statement reads, Kraken also allegedly commingles its customer crypto's assets with its own, creating what its own auditor, identified as a significant risk to the loss of its customers. Now, again, I think everything that the SEC has been doing has been absolutely ridiculous. And it's weird that the exchange, of course, this reminds me of FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, the only exchange they really didn't do anything going after until it was very obvious the crimes that SBF had committed. Now they're alleging that potentially Kraken was doing the same thing. And if that is true, that is pretty bad. And that is something that I do think that Kraken should be shut down. And I think if there was fraud being committed, that it should be not only shut down, but the owners of Kraken should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, similar to Sam Bankman-Fried. But at this point, again, that is alleged. There's no evidence necessarily at this time. So it's something that makes us ask the question now, will we be seeing a repeat of what happened back on June 5th. That, of course, was the day that we had the accusations against Binance. They made a very big deal about calling all of these different coins securities. And if we go back, let's start off here with Cardano. You will see on June 5th, after seeing that accusation, the price of ADA dropped all the way down here towards 21 cents, almost 43% to the downside. Talk about Solana back on June 5th. Same time here, it crashed the price of Solana all the way up here around $22, all the way down to 12. Well, how big was that? 42.45. What can we kind of get that close to rounding? About 43%, about the same exact amount. Didn't mean to hit that one, excuse me. Let's go take a look at Matic. Matic back on June 5th was accused of being a security. How far did it fall? Oh, look at that. A little over 43%. I could keep going, but let's go ahead and stop right there. Massive crashes came to these altcoins that were accused of being securities with no evidence whatsoever, just accused by Gary Gensler. Are we about to see the same thing happen again? In short, no, I don't think so, but I do want to prepare you guys for potential downwards movement. Now, before I do that, I still see a lot of bullish things happening. Starting off here with Cardano, you guys know last week I talked about how oversold Cardano is, and I think there's a decent chance we make a move up here towards 60 cents. Of course, right now you're kind of seeing a little bit, if I use my trend fusion tool, you're still seeing a little bit of a bull flag type of a pattern playing out here. Of course, we have a nice little bull flag from all the way down here. If we were to move this over to potential breakout spot, this is what we get. It's kind of close to that region. It technically gets us to about 57 cents, but that's really close to that 0.382 Fibonacci level right there, about 60 cents. I still see that being here in play. The problem, now let's go ahead and zoom on in here and take a look at some shorter time frames. When we come down here to the hourly chart, you will see we've kind of been bouncing now in this range between 35 cents and getting up as high as 40, but kind of almost a triple top kind of area right in here on 39 cents. We've definitely been playing in this region all the way since back here on November 8th. Can we get a breakout coming soon? Well, for now, it is looking like we potentially have some more room to the downside, even down here on the hourly chart, which gives us a good picture of what maybe the rest of the day could look like. We could see a bounce come in, we could, but when I see the fact that the oscillators are still dropping, we're not necessarily overextended and oversold at the moment. We're not seeing any green come in with the MVP oscillator. I think there's a decent chance that the price could continue to fall. The question is, how far could that price be falling? Well, coming over to our liquidation map here on the 12-hour, you will see that we do have some good liquidity down here at about 37.1 cents, but we also have some good liquidity above us at 38.8 and even back up here as high as 39.5. Could be very, very interesting. In fact, we even go out to the more weekly chart. Let's kind of zoom out and take a look at some other liquidity we're taking a look at. You know, still have that 37 right there. We kind of touched it this morning, 37.6 right in here. But we have some yellow kind of peeking up here right below 40 cents. So is Cardano about to explode to the upside or downside? I don't know. There's not necessarily heavy liquidity saying that we're going to explode. I do think in the next week or two we could see a move heavily to the upside. But keep a look on some downward movement, probably the rest of today, maybe even into tomorrow. But I do think we're going to be making a push back up, at least triple topping up there towards 40 cents here for Cardano. Of course, you come out here and you're looking at larger time frames as well. Again, I'm actually really liking what I'm seeing with oscillators. 4-hour chart kind of getting back down towards that mid level, even though we didn't get an overextended mark on this one. What I'm looking for is possibly some good bullish divergence, maybe even oscillators falling down below these levels, even though the price stays higher. On the daily chart, yes, we were overextended, but you can see here price coming back up, candle bodies closing close to those same areas, yet the oscillators have dropped significantly. To me, this is a reloading phase to keep your eyes on. Now, I do want to point out, again, I want to give the full bullish and bearish take here. Weekly chart now, let's kind of zoom out and see how many weeks. 2 different weeks now, 2 weeks in a row, we have been overextended. We're getting these overbought flashes. And unlike Bitcoin, when we saw back in 2019, just a constant ride of those overbought flashes, you will see in 2019, these got pretty good at calling the tops here. You can talk about this first one we had way back here. We technically had 3 of them back here in April of 2019. The first one, though, kind of did call that top. We moved up a little bit to similar price levels weeks later, but you will see we didn't really get any higher after flashing overbought. Same thing back here in February. That overbought flash for Cardano was a pretty good call for the top. We had a little bit of a delay here in July. And then, of course, the actual bull market, we kind of lived in that overbought category all the way up. However, I don't think this is the full-blown bull market. So this is something that, while it's not a nail in the coffin, and again, I see a lot of positivity and moves to the upside coming for Cardano, it is something to keep your eye on. That historically, these overbought flashes on the weekly chart for Cardano have been pretty good in this timeline of the 4-year cycle. Let's take a look at another coin that is listed on this new lawsuit, but I still am a little bullish on. I still think that we can get up into and maybe the upper end of the golden pocket for Solana. However, let's come and take a look at potentially something that could be concerning, and that is the formation of a head and shoulders pattern. Real quickly, oscillators, I think they could drop a little bit lower. We're not seeing the green histograms come in. We definitely could get lower here with oscillators. A little bit lower than Cardano, though, so maybe we're seeing a bounce coming on Solana a little sooner than Cardano. But when you're looking at this formation, we have a nice little left shoulder right here. We have a head and then a right shoulder formation. This, to me, is a head and shoulders pattern and could see, let's get rid of all these. This could see the price of Solana drop maybe as far as all the way back down to a support level back here, back down towards $45. This, of course, was resistance back here early in November, a bull pennant that we ended up breaking up to the upside almost perfectly. Well, could we see Solana fall back down to those levels? It's looking like a potential possibility. Let's go check out Solana's heat map here as well to see what maybe some good levels to look at. We'll start off here on the weekly chart. To be fair, the biggest liquidity we're seeing on the weekly chart all the way back up at $63 could be interesting. Let's take a look maybe even as far out as the 3-monthly chart to see if there's any heavy liquidity below us. This is still a project that I think could have a significant, I think all of crypto will have a dip coming in eventually. I think the next level you're looking at, if we start to fall, big gap here. That's something to keep, even more of a reason why we're probably going to drop those levels. But this one's saying there's like no volume between about $50 all the way down closer towards $40. Yeah, we talked about some support here at 45, but keep an eye. If we start to fall here on Solana, things could get messy very, very quickly all the way back down to 40 or maybe even below 40. We do have some liquidity all the way coming in down here below $20. I think it's going to be really hard for Solana to get all the way back down below $20. Let's take a look there. In fact, I'm kind of a fan of saying I think that $27 for Solana would be an amazing buy price. I think it's going to be very hard for Solana to get below that. And just thinking about that, that would still be, we predicted on this channel potentially anywhere between a 50 to 60% drop in Solana's price from the top. Well, just even if we don't set a new high, even if we don't get back above that $68 level, that down to 27 would still be a 60% pullback. If we did make a pullback up to $78 and make that new high of the golden pocket, that would be a 65% dip. So 27 definitely very doable. Don't think that's happening anytime soon, but keep your eye on this 45 to 40 cent region like we were looking at here with liquidity. Definitely have a gap in volume that could send price down that low. But with that said, even on this chart, I'm still looking bullish. Yes, this is a head and shoulders pattern, but if you were to take that pattern out, which sometimes those don't necessarily play out, you're still seeing a consolidation here above $52. Not really worried until we lose that $52. And I do think, again, we could make one more good push. The same way we've been making these pushes, we could see another good push come up. Just like we did back here, we could see another one coming back down, retesting 52, getting up into that golden pocket closer to $78, maybe $75 for Solana. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you guys think about all of this? What are your thoughts about Gary Gensler and the SEC? What are your thoughts about the Kraken case? Are they commingling funds? If they are commingling funds, what do you think is going to happen not only to them, but to these coins that we're talking about here as well? And also, do you think that we can continue to set new highs for all of these altcoins along with Bitcoin? Go ahead and smash that like button on your way out. Hit subscribe if you have not already. And we will see you guys today for another live show. And then we're taking the rest of the week off for Thanksgiving. But we'll be back with you guys early next week. You guys have a fantastic day. I'll see you in the next video.